before I go too much further to that, I just wanted to bring us back a little and remind us as to how Black history actually began. And it started with a man by the name of Carter Woodson, and in 1926 he started Negro History Week. And it was designated in February, which fell between Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass's birthday. That's important. Sometimes people think, why did we select February? And that's the reason why. And that began in 1926. Carter Woodson was very concerned with the omission of contributions by African Americans even then. And he himself personally authored and co-authored over 20 to 30 books identifying our contributions. From that point, we'd like to recognize that 1976 was the country's bicentennial. The week was then extended to a month. And from that point, Rahway actually begins our recognition of Black History Month in January. And we do that with the recognition of the Dr. Martin Luther King citywide celebration. So we start that in January. From then, the Moab Masonic Lodge has a scholarship breakfast. And the NAACP actually sponsors the middle school Black History Assembly. And that's done on the first Monday in February. So just a little background, just to let you know that this isn't something new. It was a new bow and has a long history. In Rahway, our recognition should continue and has been going on, especially the City Hall exhibit from the days of the late Mrs. Hannibal, who used to come here and set up her easels and set up her posters, her tables, her pamphlets. This year we'll recognize the African Americans in the military, and we'd like to thank the American Legion Mackey Post 499 for showing up. We'd like to also thank our exhibitors, Bridges Book Center, Ethnicity, and the Princess African Food Store. So we've come a long way from Mrs. Hannibal doing a one-woman show to expanding it across the city.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
My function at this time is to actually introduce the dignitaries that are here today. And we have a number of them. And I thank Linda Chandler, Mrs. Chandler, for allowing me to do that. We have, and I'll start with the Freeholder Board. We have with us Alex Marabella from the Freeholder Board. Our own freeholder, Chester Holmes. And past freeholder and councilperson Walter McLeod. We have with us from the city our illustrious mayor, James Kennedy. We have our council vice president, Jerry Scaturo. We have our 6th Ward Councilwoman, Lise Hickley-Medford. We have Council at Large, Nancy Saligan. We have our 1st Ward Councilman, Bob Rackman. We have our 4th Ward Councilperson, Dave Brown. We have the principal of Franklin School, Paula Braxton. We have from the Board of Education, Deborah Bridges. We have from the NAACP, Shirley Farmer, president of the NAACP. We have from our library board, Harry Williams. We have our newly appointed business administrator, Bob Gorman. Bob. One person to me, and that is when we look back and we look at the history of Black History Month and we look at the people that came before us, Reverend Bryant is very important to me, to what he has shown in the Boys and Girls Club, but when we look at his history and what he has come through, and I always bring this up, that Reverend Bryant was one of the forebearers for Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. It was very important for us to recognize those who were close to him. Department of Public Works, who has helped us through many, Mike Smalling. Bill. I hope I didn't miss anyone. I know Freeholder Homes has a resolution to present to this committee on this day, so whenever you feel it's necessary to do, I'm going to ask you to come back up and take it from Mr. Holmes and Mr. Marabella. Linda?
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce Freeholder Marabella, who's assisting me here tonight on our 9-member Freeholder Board. And proud of him, he and I are running mates together when our time expires and we start all over again. But when Mrs. Chandler mentioned about some of the people that the history of some of the African Americans working in the community of Black History Month, I remember very distinctly that Mrs. Hannibal was very notable in making her displays in the rotunda of the Union County Freeholder Board, and after which she passed away, and then Mrs. Bridges is now doing the displays in the rotunda, and I think it's a good representation for Norway, and I'm very proud of the fact that they're doing this. Come on up here, please. I'd like you to do the honors of doing this resolution.
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you here tonight. I think it's most appropriate that the theme of tonight's resident brochure is African Americans in the military, and on the foothold of moving into potential wartime, I think it's very important to recognize all our diversity of men and women in the military. And I think it's a fitting theme for this evening. So on behalf of Chester, myself, and the rest of the freeholders, we want to give you this resolution on behalf of the county, and appreciate your efforts working towards enlightening our youth and making sure everybody's aware of Black History Month.
And that also goes for Mr. Brown. As council president this year, I have asked Mr. Dave Brown, the councilman for the 4th Ward, to take charge of a program that I feel very strongly in, and that's Students in Government for Young Leaders. And one of the things that Mr. Brown has done is exactly that. He has taken our young middle school kids and brought them to show them what leadership is all about. I'd like to bring Mr. Brown up at this point. Mr. Dave Brown, of course, will
On behalf of the City Council, and when Councilman Mayone asked me to do student government, I had an opportunity to meet with Fran Gavin at the middle school, and from there to start a club which is called the Young Leaders. And the Young Leaders is taking young people with their ideas to do something, to make them better citizens, to show them what they can do with their lives when they start out young. A leader is an individual that wants to do something, doesn't make too many excuses, and he gets the job done. What I'm going to do now is to introduce our president of the Young Leaders, Angelica Duran.
Good afternoon. My name is Angelica Duran, and I'm representing to you the Young Leaders Club.
Good afternoon. I'm the vice president of the Young Leaders Club. My name is Frank Paul.
afternoon. My name is Rakim Shamar Alexander. I am the second vice president.
Good afternoon. My name is Marilyn Duran, and I am the group leader of the Young Leaders Club.
Good afternoon. I'm Isaiah Martin, and I'm the group leader of the Young Leaders Club.
Good afternoon. I'm Kiara Dunn, and I'm the secretary for the Young Leaders Club.
Good afternoon, my name is Amber Bresk and I'm the group leader of the Young Leaders Club.
Good afternoon. My name is Daniel Smith, and I'm the sergeant at arms of the Young Leaders Club.
Okay. This is our group. This is only partial of what we have. We have approximately 22 students that have signed up. And these are the students that have decided to take time out of their schedules to come and to be with you as far as, celebrating Black history. What I'd like to do at this time is, hold on, Deanna, could you bring that over? On behalf of the city, we've had a program which was called the Underground Railroad. And the Underground Railroad started here in the city about 2 years ago. And Mayor Kennedy asked myself, Walter McLeod, to be involved with the Underground Railroad. And each one of us got involved in our own ways of making something happen here in the city. But what had happened when the Underground Railroad came, it was with Regina Thomas that came to Rahway, New Jersey. And what I'd like to do, Mayor, is to present this to you, come forward, of the Underground Railroad. What it is, it's pictures and photos of all the people that was participating here with the Underground Railroad here in the city of Rahway. And it will show all different areas. It started up on St. George Avenue and it finished at Central Avenue. So on behalf of the young leaders, Mayor, this is only the beginning of showing students here in Rahway what a great town it is. But what you have to realize, and I always put emphasis on it, it's academics. It's about you getting good grades. Once you get good grades, good attendance, participating in sports, those are all good things. But if you participate academically, you're able to give something back to your community, to your country, to your mother, your father, and all your peers. Because like I always tell you, someone gave me a chance. And when they gave me an opportunity, I was able to demonstrate these things and what you have to do in order to be successful. As we'll show you, Thursday, right, you did a good job. You definitely will receive a reward for coming out and being part of the young leaders. So here you go, Mayor. I guess what I was supposed to do after this is to introduce you. So here it is. Now, what we'd like to do, put that in the hallway and then make sure that we get an opportunity to see Regina Thomas and share that with her. Thank you. Can we get a photo with the mayor now? Are you going to leave? Okay.
Before we do, I want to thank everybody for being part of Black History Month. This is a great community in the city of Rahway, and for many years there have been many people who have put efforts in to make Rahway a better place. Walter has been pounding away for as long as I can remember. I just turned 50 the other day, so I'm catching up, Walter. I know how it feels. This is a wonderful idea. Linda Chandler, I want to express to you my gratitude in helping put together the program of cultural diversity, which is very important to our community. And Shirley Palmer for all the work that you've done over the years with the NAACP. Certainly, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Dave Brown, his involvement with the kids in town. He does a great job. I know firsthand for many years. Dave has touched a lot of people who've made a difference in their lives. And I've been around long enough now where I see some of the kids that were involved in the early 90s, and some of them are working for us today. And you never know. There may be a mayor sitting in the front row here. It doesn't have to be a man. So I want to wish everybody the best, and thank you very much for all the help that you've given. Thanks again.